Many people are hoping on a chance for a deathbed repentance. They don't want to serve Jesus now. They first want to go and enjoy their lives, and when it suits them, they want to come back and serve the Lord. They don't want to serve Jesus, but they don't want to go into hell. So they think that they can come back when it suits them. But it won't happen, because God will close the door on you. We read in Luke chapter 13 verse 23. And someone said to him, Lord, are there just a few who are being saved? And he said to them, strive to enter through the narrow door, for many, I tell you, will seek to enter and not be able. Once the head of the house gets up and shuts the door, and you begin to stand outside and knock on the door and saying, Lord, open up to us, then he will answer and say to you, I do not know you where you are from. Then you will begin to say, we ate and drank in your presence, and you taught in our streets. And he will say, I tell you, I do not know you where you are from. Depart from me, all you evildoers. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Once the door is closed, you will cry out in vain. I recall the story of a man on his deathbed. He was also hoping on a deathbed repentance. And while he lay there, he was crying out to God. And he had his hand in the air and he was groping, looking for the knob of the door. And he was saying, I cannot find the door. I cannot find the door. And he died without finding the door. Are you also hoping on a deathbed repentance? Do you also want to enjoy your life now and come back to Jesus when it serves you? The door might just be closed. Today is the day of salvation. Seek the Lord while he might be found. Tomorrow might be forever too late. Tomorrow you might cry out to Jesus, but the door might be closed. May Jesus bless you.